You won't believe it. These three people are playing the no damage mode, and the only missing things are their eyeballs and chip. These injuries look like they belong in a movie. Could there be a military cover-up? They quickly head to the military base to verify the news. The gunfire here was lively like a hot pot party. A soldier accidentally gets hit by a shell, and the operator controlling him is instantly unfriended. Soon enough, he connects to another soldier and continues the life and death game, like returning from the depths of hell, practicing combat skills in the cycle of die and revive. The general took time to meet them and nearly boasted about denying the existence of such a barbaric weapon. As for the missing eyeballs and chips, oh, they are just the military's combat analysis habit, and the general seemed reluctant to go deeper into the topic. However, the police brought exciting news info on the natural person, a veteran criminal. He had been arrested for multiple armed robberies, but the magic is he always gets out quickly, and it seems like a big boss is pulling strings behind the scenes. They went to the info department to get help from Big Guy. Unlike other colleagues using agents, he prefers to roll up his sleeves and do it himself. After a bit of searching, they quickly found the fugitive, but this place is super sensitive. Even Spider-Man wouldn't make it out. While 98% of the world's people are fans of agents, there are still those who think this technology is evil and anti-human. They formed the Human Alliance, led by the Prophet, with some mysterious big shots funding them, starting a battle against the government. Members of the Human Alliance pursue a natural lifestyle and absolutely forbid agents from entering. One slip-up could be seen as a declaration. Meanwhile, the Police Alliance dispatched ground and air forces to catch him before he entered the preserve zone. The criminal flees frantically, the crashes en route resemble a demolition derby. Luckily, agents abound, no casualty concerns. Approaching the preserve zone, the fugitive finally gets cornered and has to turn into an alley, but ends up taking a tumble down the stairs. When he gets up to continue fleeing, it's clear he can't outrun machines with his puny flesh and blood, so he pulls out that terrifying weapon with all his might. He presses the weapon key, unleashing wild current that fries pursuers' chips and glasses, ending the operator's game. However, the agent in the middle managed to disconnect just in time, narrowly avoiding disaster, proving that efforts pay off. Unfortunately, the driver got brutally deleted, and based on past experiences, his body might be going offline as well. After wiping out his pursuers, the fugitive dashed towards the human preserve, knowing that agents could only watch but never enter. Regardless of the falling plane, the agent quickly reconnected to the agents after a brief pause, while the plane continued its downward plunge. Before he could even stabilize himself, the plane crashed into a building in the preserve, tracking along the way until it finally landed in a clearing. The wings spun around in the air, creating merciless destruction, sending pedestrians into a frenzy of covering ears and running. The agent was flung from the cockpit by the aircraft, crashing down hard, only to find that the sparks unexpectedly destroyed his body. He quickly surveyed the surroundings and thankfully found no casualties. However, his broken right arm was gushing blue liquid like a mechanical fountain. The right move is to retreat at once to avoid clash, yet he calmly went his severed limb as if cooing. He picked up the remaining weapon. That glowing thing was terrifying, and the sacrifices of his colleagues couldn't go to waste. Seeing him like this, the fugitive must be scared to bits, so he clumsily fled again, using his knowledge of the terrain to gain some distance. But as a police agent, his physical abilities surpassed those of mere mortals, making it easy to pursue an ordinary guy. However, his flashy moves riled up the residents of the preserve, and suddenly everyone was grabbing their gear and chasing after him. The fugitive spotted an abandoned shipping container to hide in, ready to fight back, but sadly his gun seemed to have gone on strike. Unable to retaliate, the fugitive ran again. One was sprinting on the ground while the other was flying in the air. It really isn't fair. Of course, the mastermind struggled desperately. In the chase, the criminal twisted his ankle jumping down, while the orphan slipped in midair. The moment they hit the ground, the fugitive seized the chance to escape again, but recovering with a fleshy body isn't easy. The agent was closing in. Suddenly, a runaway car came along and knocked him down. Turns out the residents of the preserve finally showed up. At this point, the fugitive, completely exhausted, had no choice but to stop and beg for mercy, even though he had just killed several colleagues, now saying, "I didn't do it." The agent was used to these unrepentant types and told him to toss over the backpack, but before he could grab the weapon, a sudden bullet took him down. It's strictly forbidden for agents to enter the preserve, even if they are law enforcement. The fugitive fled in the chaos. The powerless agent lay still, facing residents' fury. At this moment, he finally had time to deal with his injuries, crawl out the door to seek his wife's help, while on the other side, a certain carefree fugitive was having pleasant dreams, not realizing the Prophet was searching his house with his team, and clearly, they weren't looking for his jokes. As the leader of the Human Alliance, the terrifying weapon had become his treasure, and he was eager to find out where this weapon came from. Faced with this sudden interrogation, The fugitive didn't know how to respond. He was just a lower-level nobody. He tried to take the fall, but at this point, he realized he was probably in big trouble, and it didn't look like he'd escape unscathed today. Additionally, the agent was hospitalized for injuries, yet got no recognition for his duty. Instead, he was punished for entering the human preserve unauthorized, causing a conflict between the two, and before he could get reinstated, the director decided not to reassign him a new agent. Regardless, the agent won't compromise. Apart from 5 fallen comrades, the terrifying weapon alone was enough to keep anyone up at night. Just then, Agent Pi came to visit him. Although they had worked together for years, they hadn't had many chances to meet face to face, and naturally felt a bit nervous. After years of not really stepping outside, he realized the world had turned so strange. People on the street seemed like walking puppets who had forgotten their human strides, and seeing this, Agent Pi decided to take him to find an agent store.